On the 26th of September 2024, the small indie game studio Wrong Organ released a game that would go on to become hugely successful and was nominated for the Outstanding Story-Rich Game Award at the Steam Awards. That game is Mouthwashing. I first found out about this game through Corey X Kenshin. I watched a small portion of his playthrough and thought the game seemed interesting enough, so I bought it and played it for myself. At first, I thought it would be kind of a mediocre horror game where the Pony Express mascot chases you around the ship, but man was I wrong. The game, although having many horror elements, is not really a traditional horror game, but more a story game with psychological horror woven into it. It is incredibly dark and mature and conveys its message so well that I immediately fell in love with the game. So I'm going to go through it and try to show you why it is so amazing and also give my thoughts and reflections at the end. As soon as you start the game, you are greeted with a sunset. The game title flashes on screen and then quickly fades away. The camera pans back, revealing that the sunset is just a TV screen next to a hospital bed. In the bed lies a man who seems to be incredibly mutilated. He has no skin left on his body and is wrapped in bandages. The music playing is relaxing and calm while simultaneously being eerie. It is a very striking start screen and leaves the game very open about what the gameplay and story could be like. Anyways, you click the new game option and begin. Pony Express long haul space freighter. Tolpar. Crew 5. Planned shipment duration 382 days. Elapsed transit time 147 days. I hope this hurts.
I hope this hurts.
The game starts with you controlling someone inside the cockpit of the ship. The ship says that an orbital body, probably an asteroid, has been detected near the ship. It tells us to do a manual turn to the left so the ship doesn't crash into it. You click the steering device, but the only option is to steer right, opposite to what the ship is telling you to do. With no other choice, you have to do it. The ship is now set to a direct collision course with the asteroid. This makes the ship engage the autopilot. You can now move around the ship. Upon trying to leave, the person you're playing as says, "I can't let anyone in." This confirms that you are trying to sabotage the ship. You can go into a locker and find a key to unlock a red button on the control panel. You go back and unlock the button. Upon pressing it, the entire ship gives out emergency warnings. You hurry out of the cockpit down narrow corridors that all look the same. You can find the posters of a character named Polly throughout the corridors too. The lights start to flicker as you walk further until you come across a locked door, making you unable to progress further. Upon turning back, you find that the hallway is now dark, with even more pipes than before, and a statue of Polly blocks you from going further. You can also start to hear baby sounds in the background. Turning around again, the hallways are now broken, with sparks and smoke flying around. The water pipes burst around you, and when opening one of the doors, a more mutilated version of the Polly statue blocks you. The baby noises get louder, and the corridors break down even more. The walls fill with posters, and an alarm starts ringing. You come across another door locking you out, and when turning around, anyone else would do the same thing.
We ain't touching the damn cargo. The hold is locked down for a reason. The only thing worse than dying slowly is not getting paid.
But it could be something useful, I think.
Could be what? Hopes, dreams, and marzipan?
You don't have to.
If it helps us survive, it's worth it.
Man, Pony Express bosses really aren't chill at all, huh? Come on, a quick look won't hurt.
How exactly is this group therapy committee planning on getting in there?
All right here, boss. You're looking at the meanest swing of the regional junior baseball team. Straight up nearly corked a kid once. I can take the utility axe and...
You were goddamn born fully corked.
That's enough, Swansea. There has to be an in case of emergency way inside.
If I'm remember correctly from the safety protocols, the doors should have an alternate access code, but it can only be uncovered using a code scanner device.
And only the captain has access to the scanner.
Of course. Go ahead and ask him all about it then. Maybe he'll sing you the blues too.
We don't need him. If we find the scanner, get the code and open the hold. For better or worse, I'm captain now. I'll figure it out.
Right on.
This is the very first time meeting our main cast of characters, or all except one who will meet very soon. We have the nurse Anya, whose employee card you can actually find in the beginning in the cockpit locker. We have the ship's handyman Swansea and his intern Daisuke, and then of course you, Jimmy, the ship's co-pilot. You are now free to explore the ship. You can talk to the other crew members too. You get to know the characters a bit better this way, like Daisuke talking about getting famous when you make it out of this and impressing the women. Walking around the ship, you see it is filled with foam, which you quickly learn is the ship's defense mechanism that seals holes in the ship's hull so you all don't get sucked out to space. You walk into medical, where you see Anya standing next to the mutilated guy from the start screen. Talking to Anya, she explains she doesn't want to give him his painkillers because she can't stand the noise he makes when he takes them. Anya also says she thinks the code scanner you need might be in the cockpit. Jimmy also reveals to us that the guy's name is Curly, the ship's captain and last member of the game's main cast. Anya then proceeds to call Jimmy so capable to flatter Jimmy and asks if he could give Curly his painkillers. Jimmy answers people have to be worth their titles. Don't you think, Nurse Anya? But agrees to it anyway. This already makes you think Jimmy is being kind of an asshole, but you give Curly his meds and move on. When giving him his meds, Anya runs out because she can't stand the noise, as said before. When you're done, if you go back to the lobby, you'll find Anya distressed on the ground. We don't have a whole lot of painkillers left, but you still want to keep...
Why do you think he did it?
Does it matter? What answers would make you feel any better?
I have to believe that our worst moments don't make us monsters, Jim. I have to, even in his case.
He tried to take us all down with him, Anya. The way I see it, there's 2 reasons to keep him alive at this point. I guess the important bit is that we all agreed to it, for one reason or another.
I'm still feeling nauseous. I need a minute.
You head down and see the cargo door is locked with a code. You continue to the cockpit and meet Swansea on the way. He says that utility is all foamed up and that no one is allowed to go in there. In the cockpit you can see the damage caused by the crash. The cockpit is now broken and filled with foam, only a shell of its former self. On the ground you see the code scanner. Heading back with the code scanner, you can shine it on this black bar on the wall to get the code.
Are you listening?
Yep, damn. I'm so sorry. Couldn't sleep again. But I passed the psych eval.
Well, you gave the same answers as last time. I do wish you'd open up a little more, Captain. These evaluations aren't just about you.
As long as I'm fit to fly in your eyes, Anya.
Oh, stop it. Guess that means I only have one more eval left to do.
Jimmy?
He asks as if I do these things for fun. Then I have to make a report with things like, I have found myself sexually excited at the sight of cartoon horses.
Well, I could take it off your hands.
Really?
I've known him for a long time. He won't try any bullshit with me.
I suppose you are the captain.
I am the captain.
Thank you. What a relief.
Anya then gives you a note left by Swansea, and it reads, "They can't expect me to perform miracles." You now play as Curly. The ship is normal and looks way friendlier. You head to utility where you find Jimmy standing outside. Walking inside, it is clear what the problem is. Swansea tells you to get the axe, which you can unlock with your code scanner. After removing the foam with the axe and freeing Daisuke,
Swansea tells Daisuke that he's dumb for trying to go through the vent, as going through it would probably end up with him getting killed since it is fully collapsed inside. Daisuke then says, "Yeah, well, you probably couldn't fit in there," to which Swansea just says, Captain, give me the axe.
You go back to Jimmy and joke about his quote-unquote sexual obsession with cartoon horses, and he tells you to meet him in the cockpit. Walking to the cockpit, the staircase down is unusually long, seemingly stretching down endlessly. When you get to the bottom, there's no door, but instead a fall. You land in an ocean of blood. You confusingly walk forward. Suddenly, emergency warning screen starts appearing and an alarm can be heard getting louder and louder. Ladders spring out of the ocean and the sun starts to rise, slowly blinding you until your screen is white. How are things otherwise? Off the record. I like it. We're in control here. Didn't think you'd ever take to being a freighter pilot as well as you have. What with how you struggle back on Earth. Sure. All I ever hear is how great of a leader you are. Honestly, it's kind of annoying. So what is it? How come it always seems like you're standing on the edge of a bridge with your feet in cement? Lately, I've just been thinking, is this enough? Should I just stay here because I've been successful at it? A good long-haul freighter captain. And that's bad? That's what I'm saying. It's not. But it's terrifying. I think, am I figured out? Is this all I'll ever be? Or do I take the risk and try something new, even if I'm bad at it? I guess I get it. You've reached the highest rung on this ladder, so now you're thinking you might be on the wrong ladder altogether. Still a long way from the top, no matter how you look at it. While I'm still climbing and climbing. Something like that. But hey. You know I believe in you. Here, on Earth, doesn't matter. You should write that on the psych eval. Oh no, the big guys themselves. Guess that's my cue. I'll see you later. You are in the cargo hold. However, you are trapped between the shelves and boxes. In front of you in the distance, you can make out a faint glow. When you get closer, you see it's a TV. You watch it and can switch between the channels.
A business operating at a steady profit can give its workers security and employee benefits. Here, in fact, is the answer to a dream as
Dragon Breath presents a revolutionary new dental hygiene product. Brand new formula designed to kill bacteria and kill germs without leaving a bad taste. Dragon Breath X Mouthwash. All day fire fresh. Kills 99.9% of all germs. You're back where you previously left off. You discover that the item you have been shipping this entire time is mouthwash. The same mouthwash from the ad earlier. The crew freaks out as they were hoping for anything useful, maybe food or some other useful supply.
Anya picks up one of the bottles and says the sugar content in the mouthwash probably offsets any potential of using it as a disinfectant, which is funny because that's kind of the entire point, right? That it's supposed to clean things out, but the sugar creates this contradiction where it can't be used.
Swansea interrupts her and takes the bottle, reading
14% ethanol.
After that, he drinks the bottle, ending his 15 years of sobriety. You start off getting orders to, quote-unquote, break the news, supposedly about what the company letter was about. When you go to enter the lounge, everyone yells surprise. As it turns out, they threw a surprise birthday party for you, which is gonna be the only birthday of the year, as you're only allowed one birthday celebration per year. They tell you have to make the cake though. After making it, you sit down at the table with everyone else and break the news for them.
You tell them that the report said that Pony Express has gone out of business, and that means that everyone is now without a job. Everyone then, of course, starts panicking until Jimmy says this.
So, I guess you got what you wanted without the guilt, Jim. If I had known. I can go back to my, how'd you put it, struggle of a life? Anya never got into medical school because she's, well, let's be real. And how many employment years Swansea got left in him? Daisuke will be fine, mommy and daddy have him covered, so there's that at least. But you, headed for bigger and better, right? I'm just working on my life being a place I don't have to fucking escape. That's what I was trying to tell you, nothing more. We're the ones you're trying to escape! Leave the dirt behind now that your boots are clean. That's not what I meant. It is what you meant. You just couldn't frame it to yourself in a way that kept you as the hero. Abandon the crew but remain the model captain.
Unbelievable.
What am I supposed to do?
Let's have some fucking cake, Props to the Twilight Cruise of the Tulpar. Props to our captain and his new prospects. Yeah, Jimmy's once again just being an asshole, manipulating the crew that's already distressed by turning your words against you. Maybe he's acting this way out of stress himself, but still he's being a bit of an asshole. You are woken up by Curly screaming in agony. Anya and Swansea are not in their beds and you decide to go check on Curly. Anya isn't there either, so Jimmy looks for her. He finds her in the cockpit speaking to Swansea. Anya gets startled and turns away from you. Jimmy asks what they are doing up this late before noticing that Anya looks to be crying and points it out, to which she replies,
No, don't worry. I'm okay.
Jimmy says Curly hasn't gotten his meds yet, and Anya says it must have slipped her mind. She says she'll give him the meds, but Jimmy insists he does it instead. You go back up to Curly and give him his meds. Come on, stop with the noise. Damn it. I know what everyone is thinking. The way they look at me. What could I even say? And then, what would she do? Damn it! Here we are now, me in the driver's seat. Thanks for that. Open up. I hope these make you feel fucking better. The ship is dark and all the lights are red. The big screen is broken and empty mouthwash bottles are lying in huge piles. The ship is a complete mess. On the table in front of you sits Curly with a cake. Sitting down with him, he begins talking to you. He says you should have some cake together, and Jimmy questions why, since it's pretty bad. Curly says that sometimes you can only get the subpar stuff, and that's what makes the good stuff good. Jimmy questions it more, and Curly says that they all tried to escape and failed, and that he is once again working on his life trying to be something he doesn't have to escape. Sometimes he'll be promoted, buy a house, fall in love, and sometimes he'll have some awful cake with his friend, saying that sounds brilliant right now. You go to get a knife, and on your way there, you see that the whole ship is empty, with medical being completely filled up with mouthwash. You find a bloody axe in the cockpit on one of the seats and grab it. When you get back, the cake is gone and Curly is lying on the table. With nothing else to do, you grab the axe and... You start with the objective to check on the crew. You find Daisuke lying on the ground. How many have you had? Those will kill you before...
Before anything else, I know. My mom found this internship for me. Such a slacker, she said. I don't know. I just never knew what I wanted to be. Never was good at anything. Total screw up.
We're not done yet, Daisuke.
I just hope she doesn't blame herself. Please, just take it. I don't want to look at this stuff anymore.
You continue back to the lounge where you find Anya sitting at the table. You sit down next to her and she once again gets startled. You ask if she considers drinking the mouthwash too. She says she does, but doubts it'll help. She then tells you you might be able to break off a little foam to reach the extra medicine locker with painkillers. Jimmy agree it's worth the risk and go to get the axe off of Swansea. Swansea is very drunk and is dancing to the radio in front of the big screen. When you say you need the axe, he flips out on you, smashing the axe into the screen, breaking it. You take the axe and clear the foam. Inside the locker are not only painkillers but also isopropyl alcohol. After grabbing the items, Anya compliments you and then asks you to give Curly his meds again. Jimmy then flips out at Anya for no reason, selfishly complaining that he has to do everything all the time when he's been giving himself all the tasks. He says that he as the captain has to take all the responsibility on the ship. Anya apologizes and Jimmy tells her to go check on Daisuke and insists to give Curly his meds again. I don't think I understood the pressure you were under before. Fuck. And you tried to tell me. Our worst moments don't make us monsters, huh? You were a good captain, Curly, and you'll be one again. I'll get us both through this.
Jimmy! Get the fuck out of here!
You frantically look around the cockpit for things to block the door with. You find a metal pipe.
You can't hide!
You block the door with the pipe, but need more. You find rope in the locker.
I'm gonna chop you into 20 fucking pieces!
You put the rope on the door. You play as Curly and sit next to Anya watching the nighttime screen. You talk a little bit.
I actually kinda like the nighttime window screen, if you can believe it. So I just come and look at it sometimes. If you look really, really close, you can see there's a dead pixel in the upper right corner.
That's so. Nope. Don't see it.
In the back of my mind, it's always there.
Now I'll go bonkers looking for it. Cheers. Anya then asks how long is left on your transport. Curly says around 237 days or just under 8 months.
Hey, why do you think Pony Express put a lock on the medical room door but not in the sleeping quarters?
I suppose for the same reason they put a lock on the cockpit. The ship is a total mess. There's scrap and junk and mouthwash bottles lying everywhere. You walk for a little bit and get interrupted by Daisuke. He says that Anya is trapped in medical, so you hurry over and Jimmy realizes the entire medicine stash is in there too and says this could be bad. However, talking to Anya, you quickly realize something is off. Jimmy asks her if the door is really stuck and she says no. Jimmy complains to Anya and this obviously does not help.
You were right. You were right all along. I should have done this from the beginning. I always believed that our worst moments didn't define us, didn't make us beyond repair. You think I wanted this either? Make no mistake, this isn't my worst moment. Far from it. It's the best decision I'll ever make.
Jimmy thinks Anya might be trying to kill Curly and so he asks Daisuke if there's any other way in. Daisuke says the broken vent leads to medical, but that Swansea said it's strictly off limits. Plus, it's in utility, which Swansea claims is completely phoned up. Jimmy thinks it's worth at least checking. Talking to Swansea, he really doesn't want to let you in. Daisuke tries to explain the situation to Swansea, but he doesn't want to hear it and just rambles on, and Jimmy gives up. Daisuke is lying on the bed bleeding heavily. Jimmy rambles that he can fix this and Swansea asks if Jimmy is hearing himself. Daisuke says he's sorry and Swansea says you still have the isopropyl alcohol for disinfectant. Jimmy mumbles about a cocktail. Swansea gets mad and tells Jimmy to look for any kind of disinfectant. Swansea looks in medical where an area is censored which would probably spoil what happened to Anya and Curly. You walk down to storage. There, the entire entrance is blocked by a gravestone with Daisuke's flower lying beside it. The gravestone has the code scanner symbol on it. Upon activating the scanner, the gravestone disappears and the code scanner reveals blood splatter leading into storage. But something is very different. The hangar looks infinite, stretching endlessly in all directions. You walk down a set of stairs that also seems endless. Once you're all the way down, you're on a walkway suspended in the air above the storage shelves. There, you find a note that reads, "A blind beast, aimless and restless. You can't run from it." You obviously realize that this is supposed to help you progress, but exactly how, you're not sure of yet. While you're walking, you can hear boxes rattling around you, and the rattling seems to be moving towards you. Now if you keep moving once the rattling reaches you, a weird horse monster will pop out and kill you. But if you stand completely still, the horse won't get you. The blood trail you're following seems pretty straightforward, but you soon realize that there are invisible barriers that hinder you from taking the easy way. So you have to navigate this maze of walkways while avoiding the horse monster. Daisuke tries to talk about a different way of getting inside, since Swansea said that you couldn't get inside because it's so unstable. He also says he doesn't want to fuck up again, because, he looks up to Swansea. Jimmy then manipulates Daisuke into helping him, and Daisuke confidently agrees. Daisuke then asks how they are going to get through the door since Swansea guards it and he has the key. Jimmy says he's got an idea. He says that you are going to knock him out by giving him a really strong drink. He says there's a recipe for a mocktail in the kitchen and that you'll just modify the recipe a little to add a kick to it. You follow the steps on the machine as best as you can. Instead of using water and tonic, you use mouthwash and a bottle of isopropyl alcohol from the medical cabinet. You now know why Jimmy was mumbling about a cocktail when Swansea asked him for the isopropyl alcohol. Jimmy used it on him. Turns out that Daisuke stole a bunch of sweetener packs and you have to get one from his sleeping bed. You walk downstairs and give Swansea the drink, saying it is a gift so that they won't be at each other's necks. Swansea reluctantly accepts, and before drinking he tells Daisuke that he never should have come here and that whoever brought him here was dumb, because what the fuck was he supposed to learn from
A bunch of sad sack adults.
Jimmy says that wallowing doesn't suit Swansea, to which he replies,
I suppose you think we should all be acting like you, our hard-working, esteemed captain.
He then says some more words and downs the entire mocktail. You grab the keys from him and walk up to Daisuke. Daisuke gets worried about Swansea, but Jimmy assures him that he's fine. After unlocking the door, Daisuke has doubts about going inside. Jimmy cuts him off and says it's time to be brave. He further manipulates Daisuke by saying that Curly and Anya are counting on them. You then open the door only to find that the place is barely foamed up at all. Daisuke notices cryostasis pods in the room, and then he notices that one of them still works. He asks how long they can freeze you for, and Jimmy says 20 years. Obviously, cryostasis is, freezing you for space travel so that you don't fucking age and die while on your way to different destinations. Daisuke still doesn't get the obvious, so Jimmy explains that utility was never foamed up at all. Swansea knew that the whole time. Jimmy then comes to the conclusion that Swansea must have been hiding it to save himself. 20 years is a lot more time to have a chance of being rescued, and that conclusion seems very logical. Daisuke, who looks up to Swansea, says there has to be another explanation, and says they'll ask him about it when he wakes up. You look over to the vent, and Daisuke comments on how nasty it looks, and that he wouldn't want to imagine what it looks like on the inside. Jimmy says Daisuke has to crawl through it, but Daisuke has second thoughts, saying it's not safe. Jimmy then manipulates Daisuke again by saying that crawling through the vent will prove to Swansea that he is a good intern and that he'll be impressed when he wakes up. Jimmy even says that Swansea will understand why they had to do what they did and that everyone is counting on Daisuke.
Yeah, I got this. Okay, here we go.
Anya? What did you do?
You're once again Curly. The game tells you to quote-unquote find the gun, which doesn't bode well. You can't seem to find it in medical, so you look around the ship. You make your way to the cockpit, and once inside you find Anya crying on the ground. For fuck's sake! Where is it? Us being let go isn't a reason to hurt yourself. Anya, as our nurse, you never got psych evals. I should have thought of that. You could have come to me if you were feeling stressed.
What would you have done?
Anything. You, the crew, are all my responsibility. I told you so over and over, yeah.
I'm not going to hurt myself. You know the gun is in a safety case I can't open, but I hid the case itself.
Tell me where it is. None of this has to be on our performance log. We'll figure it out together.
I'm pregnant.
You're... what? Who would you...
Captain, I told you.
Listen to me. We can fix this. I've known him for a long time. I'll talk to him.
I know you'd never give me the gun to protect myself, so the least I can do is make sure he never gets it either.
This is when things start to become clear about why Anya is so scared of Jimmy and why Jimmy is an asshole to her. Jimmy raped Anya, and yes YouTube, I'm gonna use that word because censoring it on a serious topic like this just seems dumb. We'll get into this more as the video progresses. Jimmy says Daisuke's bleeding won't stop. Jimmy says he needs a second to think and that they can fix this. Swansea then starts talking to Daisuke.
Daisuke?
Hey, stop! Don't move!
It's alright, Daisuke. Calm down. This line of work, you could never have become like miserable old Swansea. What a tragedy. Decades of hauling ass for Pony Express. Big mighty bruiser with all his shiny tools. This is where it got me. The good life, huh? I thought you were dumber than a can of paint. Always just chewing my ear off about nothing. Useless ray of goddamn sunshine. Not an A student, career workhorse, or a force of ambition. Just a damn good kid trying his best. You could have taught an old fool like me a lot. Close your eyes, Daisuke.
You monster! I could have fixed him, Swansea! I have to do everything myself! Why can't any of you just give me some time to fucking think?
How do you still not understand? It's over. End of the fucking line. He won't suffer one more second because of your delusions.
Unbelievable. Stop pretending. I know all about your plan, Swansea. I went to utility. I saw what you've been hiding down there. Sneaking around with that axe, telling Anya who knows what. Now this? You're making sure you're the one who gets inside that cryopod.
I sure did talk to Anya, but it was her telling me all sorts of things instead, wasn't it? Shouldn't a captain go down with his ship? Not that it matters anymore. I ain't got no place to be. I got everything I could ever want right here on this ship. So go ahead and get in that pod. If you ever get found, you can tell them whatever fucking story you like. You've earned it.
Swansea is gone, and your only objective is get the gun. Daisuke's lifeless body is still lying in his mattress, and his face has a big flesh wound across it from the axe. You walk into medical. Inside you now see what happened to Anya and Curly. Curly is fine, but Anya is dead, with vomit all over her and empty pill bottles lying beside her. She killed herself by overdosing. Under Curly's bed is an open drawer with a case inside. Looking at it closer, you see it requires a code to open it. To know the code, you have to scan an area in the cockpit's locker, but if you're like me, you had it written down and just open the case immediately, which also gives you an achievement. Opening the case, you find the gun inside, and when you take it, this happens.
Jimmy!
You are Curly again. You find Anya slumped down in medical. Going up to her, she says,
I told him.
Curly says she should have waited for him, and then asks what he said to her. Anya says,
Nothing that makes any difference.
Curly asks if he seemed angry and where he went, and Anya said he just walked away. She then says she doesn't want Jimmy there anymore, and Curly abrupts her, saying he gotta talk to him and that everything is gonna be okay. Curly seems to be in a panic. You walk towards the cockpit and see Jimmy leaning against a wall.
Jim, I can fix this.
What do you think will happen when we get back?
We can figure all of this out. You and me.
All I ever hear is how great of a leader you are. God, it's so annoying. But now? What do you think will happen now when we get back?
We'll fix this together.
Everything you and I worked for in our lives, accomplishments, changes, none of it will matter.
You've gotten through difficult situations before. This time won't be any different. Work through it. One day at a time.
It's not just me, is it? You were supposed to be the one who had everything under control. You said so yourself. This ship, this crew, everything that happened here, this was your responsibility, Captain. That is what you'll be hearing for the rest of your life. Or, this can all be remembered as a tragedy. Despite what must have been the best efforts of its acclaimed captain, the Tulpa crew was never found. No one survived to tell the tale. You're standing at the top, feet in cement. I get it now, right?
Right.
I'll take care of it.
Jim, tell me you didn't. I should have. I didn't.
What the fuck did you do? That is the first and only time you see what Curly actually looks like during the game. You are playing as Jimmy again. You are carrying Curly, who is just staring at you. The only sounds playing are Curly's breathing. You come across the table and see everyone's bodies just sitting there on the chairs. Swansea's body has gunshots in his face, suggesting that Jimmy won their battle.
Woohoo! Happy birthday, Captain! This rocks!
Here, here. To Captain Jimbo.
Come on, you have to give a speech.
Go on, have at it. You better make it good.
Hell yeah!
Our captain, Captain Jimmy.
A lot of people struggle to put food on their plates. But that wasn't enough, right, Captain? The lowest rung of your ladder is our highest. Until it was all swept from under your feet. Life isn't even worth living at the same level as us. But I forgive you. All of us do. I won't give up on you, even like this. I believe in you. We're going to make it through this. Sometimes we thrive, travel the endless reaches of space. But other times we just have to accept days like these. You taught me that, Curly. Let's eat. Let's survive. This is the point where the game really gets into the more psychological horror elements. You start in complete darkness with only a door in front of you. It's the door to medical. Once you open it, the room is very different, but the vent Daisuke crawled through is open and there's blood splattered around it. Swansea's keys hang above the vent and you walk to grab them only to fall down the vent. It doesn't seem like you're crawling through it though, more like you've shrunk down and are walking through the vent. You navigate through the vents until you see a shrunk down Daisuke. He turns his back to you and as you are about to catch up to him, the lights turn red and he vanishes. On the ground where he stood lies his flower. When you continue forward, a vent lights up with a note. It reads, "No turning back now. If you decide to turn around, this happens." But if you instead walk backwards facing the vent, eventually another vent is lit up. If you then walk backwards facing that vent, you come across another. Walking facing this one, you see Daisuke's flowers, dumbbells and Game Boys surrounded by hands. You then come across a blocked off vent with another note that just says responsibility. You then just continue to walk away from it, walking away from taking responsibility. You're now in the ship's hallway. You walk towards the utility only to fall down a curved hallway. Before I continue, I'm sorry for showing so much gameplay with no talking, but it's hard to summarize this. But it's still important to show, so all I can do is show it. The room only lights up another vent, which is surrounded by axes on the wall pointing to it. This time, you're actually crawling. The ambience is eerie and your heart is pounding, and this makes you uneasy and tense. The vent is damaged and foamed up. It's probably how the vent Daisuke crawled through looked on the inside. You hear something moving in the vents. The thought of you not being the only one in the vents is terrifying. You continue to walk forward and find a blocked off broken section with Daisuke's flower inside, indicating he probably crawled through all of that and that's how he got stabbed. It's not a nice thought. I like that the game truly shows you how bad it was in those vents, and that Jimmy manipulated Daisuke so much that he just pushed through all of that, and then he died for it. It's just sad. In front of you is Swansea, tied up to a chair. In front of him lies the gun. You pick it up and use it. You're now inside some kind of cemetery. Walking up to the house in the middle, you can see caskets in some of the stone buildings. Daisuke actually lies inside them if you use the dev tools to look inside. However, you would never see this in a normal playthrough, but I thought it was interesting to mention it. Inside the house, in the center, is a picture of Daisuke with his flowers and candles around it. A church bell rings, and suddenly movement can be heard around you. You then see Swansea running past you holding the axe. You now know what to do. You gotta shoot Swansea before he gets to you.
I have something to say, so shut the fuck up and listen. I spent 13 years half cut up to my eyeballs, drunk, to put it mildly. Then, suddenly I saw it, a streetlight shining in my face. 500 gigawatts of the power of God. A vision of my bloated body found in some ditch. Scared me straight. So, I got a collar shirt, mortgage, and a credit card. All the things that make a good man. I hope I could raise my children to be better than their old man. I wanted to believe that I was never one setback away from my worst self, but the truth is, discipline, drive, routine, the endless fucking desperation to get shit done, a loving wife, great kids, sobriety. I'm telling you, accomplishments I'd been chasing all my life. Never felt as good as I'd expected when I crossed the finish line. So now that we're at the end, taking inventory. Those nights spinning out of my head, sinking into the sofa, broken glass in my palms, bleeding dry, the funniest thing ever. Old dogs laughing and snarling on a waterbed floor, mocking the moon for daring to show its face, all nausea and wreckage and vomit and ugly cruelty. The only problem in the world, an empty bottle. Those were the best days of my life. Yeah, those were the best days of my life. I got nothing to hide, ready to face the music. I can see myself for what I am, but you, a cowardly, selfish motherfucker, and you can't even see it. I should have been able to protect the kid. If I could have done one thing right, I wish it had been to give him one small chance at this goddamned rock.
Swansea, I'm going to fix everything. We're going to make it.
Fuck you.
You are standing in front of Swansea's lifeless body in utility. You leave utility and walk through the corridors. You soon realize the corridor seems to be going in a loop. As you progress, the corridor fills with pipes, and under the floor you see Curly's face. The corridor then fills with blood splatter and eyeballs. You're now in some sort of weird flesh tunnel. You walk through it and hear heavy wind brushing past you, sounding kinda like breathing. You walk towards the opening and getting out you see that you just walked out of Curly's mouth. Anyways, you walk along a walkway to Curly that is entangled in pipes and valves. He sits in front of a TV.
Tis old Mother Goose's birthday, we're giving her a party. A party, a party, a party for Mother Goose.
The baker man, he served the cake, it was a sight to see.
You then feed Curly his own leg, and the text by the leg says, "Someday he'll thank me." If you hadn't noticed already, Jimmy has completely lost it. You can see the food traveling through the TVs, but then the food stops and Curly pukes it up. You have to turn the valves on Curly to align the TV screens so that the food travels through all of them. After that, the TV screens go to static. The TV in front of Curly says "help me," and when you get closer, the screen turns into Jimmy in space. You can control him. You walk towards the screen and I want to go home. We are home. Why don't you finish what you started? Don't worry, if anyone ever finds us, I'll still be playing the villain. You'll be the better man in the end, like you wanted. I could have stopped it. I'm taking responsibility. No, we can both be heroes. We're a team, just you and me, like we used to be. What happened was an accident. We were trapped. I made a mistake, alright? I'm sorry! I'm so fucking sorry, Curly. You are once again inside the vents. You walk through them until you reach a vagina-looking thing. You pick up a scanner and hear a heartbeat and noises. When you get to the noises, you see a tiny pony skeleton inside. You hover over it and it vanishes, and the small openings on the side open a little and it looks like there are eyes behind them. It's very weird. Anyways, you gotta find the skeleton 2 more times. Once you found the last one, this happens. All clean. Really gets rid of that bad taste in your mouth, huh? Through wreckage. Through silence. Wash it away. All day fire fresh. You are now inside the vents again. When you walk forward, you notice the creature coming out of the vagina thing from earlier. It seems to be made out of poly. Walking up to it, you now have to avoid it while making it through the vents. Fortunately, that was scripted, and you are now in a hallway instead of having to replay that entire thing again. As you're walking through it, the hallway fills with ID cards. Pony Express is dead, and so are you. Shut up. Curly tried his best. I did too, but he's the better man. I see that now. We can both still make it. I'll take care of him. I'm taking responsibility. Curly. Captain. I'm so sorry. Yes. Yes, I do. I fucked up. But I can still make this right. Our worst moments don't make us... You are once again in front of the table with all the bodies. You pick up Curly and stand up. You walk through what seems to be an endless corridor to utility. Everything is quiet except for Curly's breathing. Curly also just stares at you, judging you. It looks as if there is hatred in his eyes. Rain sounds fades in, and you get one last objective. Go home. It's okay, Curly. You're going to be okay. You always had my back. I ended up hurting you even though I was trying to save us. But now you'll survive. It's like you said. Together we can fix anything. I'm just proud I got to be your friend and co-pilot, Captain. No one can hurt you now. We fixed it. I fixed it. Yup, the game just ends like that. Jimmy kills himself without actually taking any amount of responsibility and leaves Curly to suffer for longer than he deserves. It's kind of ironic. Curly spent all of this time just standing by, doing nothing to prevent Jimmy, and it ends with him being forced to suffer in a hell he created. I saw someone saying that Curly being mutilated could be representative of how he acted when Jimmy did what he did. He didn't say anything and he didn't intervene, he just watched and let it happen. And now he is so mutilated that he can't talk or move. He's just forced to watch everything unfold. Forced to watch the monster he initiated ruin everything. Also, only having one eye could be symbolic of him kind of turning an eye away from what Jimmy was doing to Anya. Speaking of Curly's eye, you might have noticed during the game that it always follows Jimmy. I think it's just because, you know, he knows what Jimmy did. I don't think that has any deeper meaning behind it. It's just, I think, Curly knowing what Jimmy did and knowing what kind of person Jimmy really is. But anyways, let me talk about more than just Curly. The ending is so tragic. The game shows you in those psychological horror sequences just how much damage that Jimmy caused. And then he just offs himself, getting away with everything. In his delusions, he thinks he is taking responsibility by putting Curly in the cryopod. In reality, he's just prolonging his suffering. The game does an excellent job with showing Jimmy's decline into delusion and borderline psychosis. Because of this, it also makes Jimmy such a hateable protagonist. You don't want Jimmy to succeed. You don't want him to win over Swansea. You don't want him to force Daisuke up the vent. You don't want him to treat Anya like shit, but you have no control. You are just forced to watch him lose his grip on reality more and more. After playing through the game myself, it was fun seeing all the YouTubers and streamers playing through the game as well, and also immediately start hating Jimmy.
What do you mean, hero? Brother, I am transporting Mouthwash, and I'm doing it with my friends, and now the company's defunct. What do you want me to do about it? Why is this guy fucking losing his mind over it?
But he's so well written despite being so incredibly easy to hate. They perfectly portray just how depraved and psychotic he really is. He rapes Anya and gets Curly to basically ignore it just because he plays his buddy for a little while, but really he wants to be in control and would do anything to take the spotlight away from Curly and onto himself. He's just an egotistical asshole. Jimmy also treats Anya like shit because he holds her accountable for ruining his life, not realizing that that is so hypocritical to think, because obviously he's the one that ruined her life. And Anya, by not doing anything wrong, kind of becomes the reason that Jimmy becomes a full-blown lunatic, because in his mind she ruined his life somehow. It's so sad. He also manipulates Daisuke by constantly preying on his insecurities. He says that he needs to be brave and promises him that everyone will be proud of him if he just does as Yumi says. And it ends up leading to his death. Daisuke never deserved anything that happened to him. I mean, that goes for Anya too, but Daisuke wasn't even really supposed to be there. He decides one day to make his mother proud by finally applying for an internship for a job. He tends to Supervisor Swansea and sees him as someone to look up to. Swansea doesn't treat him very well, but deep down he really likes the kid, and he really does care. Swansea finds out that one of the cryopods isn't damaged after the crash, but decides not to tell anyone so that they won't fight over it. He says the utility is all foamed up and no one is allowed inside. Then one night, Anya wants to talk to him. They walk down to the cockpit where they know they'll be in private, and she tells him what Jimmy did to her. How he raped her and just got away with it, and how he impregnated her against her will. Swansea never liked Jimmy that much, but now he hates him. Swansea has secretly been plotting to leave the cryopod for Daisuke and tells this to Anya. If there's one thing he wants to do, it's to get him away from all of this, from Jimmy. But after drinking a cocktail made by Jimmy, he passes out. And when he wakes up, Jimmy has basically killed Daisuke, the one person who wasn't supposed to be there. The one that he always secretly liked the most. And now Swansea is forced to take him out of his misery. Swansea's monologue before he dies really speaks to how much of a difference it would have made for him getting Daisuke into that pod. And it also very well shows his hatred, his really deep-rooted hatred for Jimmy. Now of course the biggest victim during this entire game is Anya. She is also technically the first person you meet, since her ID card is in the locker in the cockpit. Now you can actually find all crew members' ID cards during different parts of the game. Carly's is all burnt up, because at that point in the game you haven't seen his face yet. Something interesting about the ID cards is that their locations relate to the characters on them. Anya's is in the cockpit locker, because that's where the gun was before she hit it. Swansea's is in the coffee machine that he cleaned out before the crash. Daisuke's is next to the Ludo game, which he is described as unusually lucky at. Jimmy's is next to the Polly statue because of his joke fetish for a mascot, and Curly's is next to the cryopod he gets left in at the end. But Jimmy's ideal location actually has a deeper meaning behind it. Jimmy wants to be the center of attention and in control, so he's guarded by the mascot and face of the company. Same way that Jimmy's joke sexual obsession with cartoon horses is representative of him always wanting attention. As said, Polly is the mascot and face of the company, and Jimmy almost gets aroused at the idea of being in control and being needed. Funny that when he actually does get the chance to, he can't handle it and screws everything up. I also saw a theory from some guy on Reddit and I really liked it. The Polly statue is actually right by Anya's bed, and if you walk by the Polly statue, it plays a voice line.
Polly says, "The Pony Express don't hold space further. Tulpor is one of our fastest and safest ships."
So by sleeping by it, it functions as an alarm if anyone is getting close to her while she sleeps, protecting her from Jimmy. I mean, that is such a sad and depressing thought. It truly shows how badly Jimmy ruined her life and the mental damage he has caused her. Anya is clearly very scared of Jimmy and constantly paranoid. I mean, she gets startled by his presence countless times during the game. She didn't deserve what happened to her. Looking at her conversation with Curly is also so infuriating. She opened up so much to him because she trusted him and he was always kind to her, but he just turned a blind eye when it really mattered. He knew exactly how bad things were, and yet he did absolutely nothing. He just let Jimmy abuse her and manipulate her and take advantage of her, and then let him crash the ship. But at least Curly provided some protection for Anya. But with Curly being paralyzed, Anya is now forced to obey Jimmy fully and take all this shit from the monster who ruined her life. A guy who constantly harasses her and insults her, and whose presence makes you so uncomfortable you sleep next to what is essentially a motion alarm. She's left alone to spiral, and after talking to Swansea, she realizes she can't do anything about her situation. He is saving the pod for Daisuke, which I think is the part of the conversation Jimmy overhears when he walks up to them, and Swansea also can't fully protect her from Jimmy. So she locks herself in with Curly and just commits suicide in front of him, forcing him to witness the destruction that he made possible by doing nothing, by not acting on Jimmy. Anya deciding to take her own life by overdosing on painkillers is symbolic of her death being pain relief for her. But the saddest part of her death is that none of the characters really talk about her after she dies. They put way more focus onto Daisuke's death, while Anya dies alone and is left to rot, but at least she got to end her pain once and for all. And in Jimmy's twisted mind, he envisions her praising him after all he's done, calling him captain. All of this comes from one thing: Jimmy's inability to take responsibility. The game constantly practically yells at Jimmy to take responsibility. It flashes on screen, it's the name of some of the chapters, and the game even forces him to face it in the vent sequence, yet he never takes responsibility. And I think the mouthwash in Mouthwashing is supposed to be representative of that, and some other stuff. Listen, the exact meaning behind it is up to the player to interpret, but I saw this comment left by a guy on Steam that I thought was really well articulated and that I also agree with, so I'll be reading that for you as I couldn't have said it better myself. To me, the mouthwash represents the way that Jimmy keeps trying to fix everything, but is actually just making things worse and running away from his problems. Much like how the mouthwash itself is meant to cleanse or fix your breath, but since it has so much sugar, is ineffective as a disinfectant and would only cause more cavities. Everyone then drinks it to escape having to think about the terrible situation that they're in that's likely going to lead to their inevitable deaths. Which is the same mindset that Jimmy is under, constantly running away from accepting responsibility for his actions. I also feel like within the greater narrative, it kinda shows the absurdity that they had wasted a year of their life and were about to die, all in an effort to ship an item that is essentially worthless at being a mouthwash. And yet, the company cared more about it than them, as shown by how even opening the compartment in an emergency situation causes a cut in their pay. It plays into the world building of how dystopian the reality is. Now you might have noticed that the mouthwash bottle also says it kills 99.9% of all germs, and I think it's supposed to represent how it doesn't matter if you take care of 99.9% of your responsibilities, all it takes is that 0.01% to fuck things up. That I feel relates most to Curly. Everyone said he was such a wonderful captain. He did everything right until that one little problem. Jimmy. Curly did everything right until it really mattered. That 0.01% he didn't take care of was the catalyst for everything falling apart. Now I want to talk a bit about the game's soundtrack. The soundtrack is a perfect reflection of the game. The entire thing is so liminal and existential. Often tracks are just long, spacious synths playing, or for the darker tracks a bunch of drones and light, creepy ambience. Like one of my favorite tracks, Speech, 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 that plays during Swansea's death monologue. The entire track is made up of distorted drones, and it feels so filled with rage and hatred, perfectly encapsulating Swansea's emotions. It also has some weird undertone of sorrow and kind of acceptance, which also is perfectly representative of Swansea's emotions during that scene.
Jimmy! Cowardly. Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker. You can't even see it. You can't hide! I suppose you think we should all be acting. I'm gonna chop you into 20 fucking pieces!
The darker tracks also tend to implement the game sounds from the ship or other important story elements to elevate the tracks even further, like using alarms or metal pipe crackling, you know, stuff like that really puts you in the mood of the scenes even further. And I think even if you haven't played the game, I feel like listening to this soundtrack will make you feel a bunch of emotions. I really do. Although, of course, having played the game helps a ton. It will always be better that way. Like certain sounds in some tracks that you probably wouldn't pick up the meaning of if you just listen to it. For example, hearing moans of some woman that I think is supposed to be Anya getting raped. Those moans you can hear in Facing Responsibility and Thinking About It Too. And the fact that it plays during just those tracks is so fitting. Thinking About It Too plays when Jimmy talks to Anya about drinking the mouthwash, one of the few times in the game where he is nice to her. But simultaneously you hear her moans quietly in the background. Like the game is telling you, even if Jimmy is nice this time, there's always the undertone of what he did to her. And of course, Facing Responsibility plays during the vent sequence with the notes, and when Jimmy faces responsibility, you hear the moans echoing what he did.
Also wanted to add just how disturbing Facing Responsibility is once you notice that the weird sounds playing throughout the entire thing is just moans. It becomes really difficult to listen to.
The soundtrack also progressively gets darker and darker as the story progresses, which perfectly matches the game too. Not many soundtracks have made me feel like this one has, and for that I gotta say it's amazing. It truly is. This game is by far one of the best horror games I have ever played, and one of the best indie games I've played. The story, the writing, everything is so well made, which you don't often see in horror games. The game is quirky, fun, sad, and beautiful, but also eerie, stress-enduring, dark, and terrifying. The story is so emotional and fleshed out, and everything just clicks together perfectly. I love the psychological elements of the game as well. I think it kind of delivers the final emotional punch to everything, really neatly tying the story up. All the characters are written amazingly and feel like real people, and the reveal that Jimmy raped Anya is so incredibly well made and really hits. The game's soundtrack, as I said, is amazing, and the graphics are really beautiful. The graphics being a mix between this kind of cartoony drawn style and this low-res old like PlayStation game, I don't really know. It helps the trippy sequences a lot, it does. I'm so glad that I took a chance on this game, and I hope that I made you love the game too with this video. Everything this game is and does is what truly makes it a masterpiece. a bad angle.
Alright, what's up? You might be wondering to yourself, why the fuck am I in a forest? I don't know. Aesthetic, I guess. So, this video has taken a lot of time, as you probably have noticed. I've been gone for over a month. Now, this video is long, but that is not the reason that it has taken so much time. I mentioned it kind of in my Schedule 1 video, but it's been a lot with school recently, and I just haven't really had the time to work on this. And the time that I have had, I haven't felt very motivated to work on anything. Now, back when I made the Schedule 1 video, I thought, okay, well, this is the worst of it, I can work on the video now. But that wasn't the case. But now I'm actually done with everything, school's ending, and I've been working on the video a lot. I'm thinking I'll probably get through most of the editing of my thoughts and reflections part. And once I'm done with that, I'll be done with the video. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And I guess I just wanted to say sorry for it taking so much time with this video. Again, I haven't found the motivation for a while, and it's been a lot with school. I've been stressing, and I just haven't found the time to make this. But now I finally do, and it's gonna be out by the end of this week. As I'm recording this, it is Wednesday, and I'm hoping I'll get this done by Saturday at least. But I'm actually hoping I will get this out before Saturday, but I guess we'll see. Now, I have a plan so that this doesn't happen during the summer, because I'm gonna be away a lot. So I am going to record a few videos so that I have stuff to put out while I'm away, and I'll edit them when I have time during the summer, so that we don't get into the same situation of me being gone for like over a month, or even worse, which it probably would be this time. As you may have heard in other videos, I said that I have 2 big projects coming up, and this was one of them. And it is true that I have another video, but I haven't gotten very far in the process of making that one. I've only begun researching it. I'm not even written a script or anything. So that is a video that will probably not release anytime soon, because it will be difficult for me to work on it a lot during the summer. But I'll try my best to work on it as much as possible. Now, I have a second channel, which has been in the description of all of my videos so far. I just haven't uploaded anything onto the channel, but now I'm thinking I will upload like basically behind the scenes of this video.
And the bloopers are actually out right now as of this video being released. The link is in the description.
And so you can check that out on the second channel. It should be in the description, but it's called Axolotly Yes instead of Axolotly Not. I know, very creative. And then I'm also going to be learning music theory during the summer. And I have a music channel, which I have had also up for a while, but I haven't done anything on it. But I'm thinking I will probably upload like 1 or 2 beats maybe during this summer. So if you're interested, you can go check that channel out. It's called Otis, and should also be linked in the description of this one. This video has taken me so much time to make, so I would greatly appreciate if you would share this video with your friends or whatever. Obviously I don't do this for views or anything like that, not that I get that much anyways. I do this because I'm passionate about it and I really love making videos, but yeah, I spend a lot of time on it. So any help I could get, any support, is greatly appreciated. And there have been people ever since my Kendrick video that have stayed around and been super supportive, and I thank you guys so much for that. Really, it means a lot, and I'm just hoping that you'll enjoy this video, and that my work won't have been a waste. I also want to take the time to thank all my friends that have helped me with this video, with the voice acting. They've been super supportive and very like passionate about helping with the project, and have really given their all into this. And I also want to thank you guys for watching. for for all the sport. So I guess that's it. So I'll say until next time, which I'm hoping won't be too long. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. Bye bye.